Art at BCHS with Mme Dafoe presents how to use the Masterson Sta-Wet palette. There are 3 parts to the palette system, and the palettes come in different sizes. We have 2 sizes at school. Open the palette, and the first layer will be the sponges. The sponges, when they're dry, are too small, but don't worry, they'll expand them when they're wet. The second layer is the acrylic sheet that your paint will actually be on. The acrylic sheet needs to be prepared using a bin and very hot water. Place the sheet in the bin and pour enough hot water over top of the sheet to cover it and fully submerge it. The sheet must stay in the water for at least 15 minutes. It can stay much longer without any problems. Meanwhile, let's prepare the sponge. Using tap water, rinse the sponge and fully saturate it with water. I like to squeeze it several times to make sure it's evenly soaked. Once it's fully soaked, wring it out halfway. Now place the sponge in the bottom of your palette. Make sure there's no air gaps and make sure it's flat. Once your paper has soaked for at least 15 minutes, it's ready to be used. Allow excess water to drip off, and then place the sheet over top of the sponge. Did you know that these sheets can be reused? Not only on each side, but also once the paint has fully dried, you can add new paint on top of it. And now you can add your paint, your acrylic paint. Choose the colors you need for your project and start adding them in an order that makes sense to you. If you notice that your blobs of paint start to spread or leak or run underneath, we can fix it. It's not really a problem, but you can use a paper towel or cloth to dab any excess moisture on top of the acrylic sheet. This system works by allowing moisture from the sponge to very slowly seep up through the paper to keep the paint from drying out. How you organize your colors on your palette are up to you, but it does make sense to follow the color wheel, as Marley is doing here in preparation for her painting. Whenever you're not using the palette, make sure to keep it sealed. With this system, your paint can stay moist for weeks. Happy painting!